Warning, the following video will contain spoilers from The Flash, Season 4, and Legends of Tomorrow, Season 3. So yes, I'll be talking about the things that happen in the episode Zari, as well as the upcoming episode Phone Home for Legends. So everything else, Luck Be a Lady, and everything else coming on Season 4 on The Flash, I'll be covering that too. So, if you don't want anything spoiled or ruined for you, stop watching now. Hey guys, Dave here. Now, it's been a while since I got to do one of these videos. For those of you new to my channel, yeah, I did videos about The Flash and stuff like that before, and I don't just do reviews. On occasion, when the Arrowverse first came out, I loved doing theory videos. I have decades of comic book knowledge from different storylines, and I try to anticipate where things were going in the various shows. Granted, things kind of started to get stupid a little bit on Arrow. I hate to say it. And Flash, I was wrong about who the main bad guy was in Season 1, but I was right about Season 2. Season 3, I was all over the place, but didn't quite call that one because I thought it was a little too cliche. Season 4, now the big question is, what is the Thinker's plan? Now, we've discovered this guy is not only super smart, but he apparently created the Samuroid, and he sent it after Team Flash to bring the Flash back out of the Speed Force. Smart guy, I'm pretty sure he knows that the Flash wasn't sighted since the big night of all the lightning. And he forced their hands to do something to bring him back. When it happened, turns out a bus full of people, or 12 in this case, were exposed to dark matter when a rift in the Speed Force opened, allowing Barry to return. Now, these people are starting to exhibit superhuman abilities, or metahumans. Now, this isn't just a handful. So far, it looks like all 12 people are going to be exhibiting some form of powers. We've got Kilgore, a programmer, and we've got Hazard, who was a girl who was so unlucky, her power became luck. Next week's episode, we're going to have Ralph Dibny, the elongated man. So, that should be good. Now, going back to Season 1 of The Flash, with evil Fawn, Reverse Flash disguised as Harrison Wells, he said that there was a list of different people that he actually took credit for killing from the particle accelerator. Ralph Dibny was one, as well as Will Everett, a.k.a. Amazing Man, B. DaCosta, a.k.a. Fire, Grant Emerson, a.k.a. Damage, Al Rothstein, a.k.a. Atom Smasher, who we found out later he lied about and actually came back with his Earth 2 doppelganger played by Edge. So, all these characters could be around there somewhere, but without knowing their secret identities, what's going on with Reverse Flash? Why name those specific names? Was he just trying to get to the one electrical guy who was threatening to kill him? Who knows? Anyway, the Thinker has strategically placed a Samuroid in with Team Star Labs and is now monitoring Team Flash, and they're all figuring out what's going on as far as his Barry's exposure to this brought him back. Now, Barry exposed these people to dark matter. He gave them powers. This is a metahuman that can grant other people powers. Now, not only does he know about who Team Flash is, but he's starting to want all of the 12 people captured alive. So he's planning something, and it looks like it probably has something to do with metahuman abilities. He's a super genius hooked up to a machine, but what specifically is it about him? I mean, he's in a very high-tech, clean environment, and one might even say it's disinfected and scrubbed. Almost maybe he has an immune deficiency. So that's why he has to be in a sterile environment like he is, and hooked up to machines to keep him alive. This is all theory and conjecture. I could be wrong. But his plans involve these metahumans, and now he knows how the Flash can create them. So, is his plan to somehow create more metahumans? Well, it's kind of hard. Maybe he's planning on trying to give himself new metahuman abilities. I don't know. All we know is he's not going to kill the Flash because he needs the Flash alive. He also needs these other members alive as well. So, something is important that these beings need to stay alive. They're part of the Thinker's plan. Now, fast forward to Legends of Tomorrow. They take a trip to 2042 There's an anachronism that they're trying to track down this woman, Zari Tomas, and a time traveler is trying to kill her. So, long story short, yada, yada, yada. She has an amulet, or a totem, basically. It looks like one of the 5 Zambezi totems that she can control the air with it. Now, I'm hoping that she can actually develop more abilities, perhaps that of an actual Egyptian goddess, maybe. Not just the Zephyr winds, because just having that power alone kind of blows. It just means that all this build-up for this character that I can't even say her superhero code name on my YouTube channel. I get my channel demonetized, and she blows. Don't worry, there's going to be a roast coming for that. Anyway, so in that future, in the year 2021, a mutant act happened where not only is religion outlawed, but now metahumans are outlawed. So they are hunted down on sight. They're put in prisons that essentially are experimental camps. And they're going through torture just by being a metahuman. And this is 2021. It's 2017 right now. So we've got just 3.5 years before something happens that metahumans become outlawed. What could possibly be? Well, in a preview for next week's episode of Legends of Tomorrow, Phone Home, it looks like the Dominators are actually taking a little trip back to 1988, and they encounter one of the Legends as a kid. So, with the Dominators involved, they are interested in metahumans, particularly enslaving them, trying to learn about how to tap their abilities, and things like that. Now, in the comic book story Invasion, and this is very important, a rogue Dominator not only figured out about the metagene, but also detonated a weapon called the metagene bomb. Now, what this did was, anybody with an active metagene, or even just a dormant one, when this bomb went off, it affected everyone on Earth. Now, what happened was, every metahuman's powers went out of control, and they were a danger not only to themselves, but everyone around them. They were very powerfully lethal, and eventually, after going through a massive, a bunch of spasming and just unleashing their powers, they all collapsed and went into a coma. If it wasn't for other heroes that didn't have internalized powers going to find a cure, they'd all be dead. But this also awakened a lot of people to find out that a lot of people actually have the metagene, it just was never triggered. In DC's estimations, about 13% of all the population have the metagene. It's just dormant, waiting to be activated. I've covered stuff like this before. But the thing is, right now, as the story of the Flash continues, these people were exposed. So it looks like all 12 could become metahuman. But does that mean that all 12 actually have the metagene? Or is it possible that every human being has it under the right circumstances and could be activated that way? That remains to be seen. And that'll help to figure out what's the Thinker's plan in the future. But with the Dominators coming back and them being involved in the past, what if, tying to the Flash and Legends, the Thinker or the Dominators are working on something called the gene bomb? Now, imagine this. If a metagene bomb is activated and detonated, every metahuman on Earth will have a sudden eruption of power, which could be lethal to anyone around them until they collapse. Other people who don't have the power could also become sick and fall into a coma as well. It just means that if they are given the right circumstances, they could one day develop powers. Now, couple this with other possibilities. Say like, well, the Flash supposedly died but came back, or he went away but he returned. In the comics, there have been numbers of cultists that focus on the speed. Like there was one that was led by Savitar, the actual one in the comics, not this version in the show. As well as another speedster cult that actually worshipped the lightning that Wally West ended up fighting. So, could it be possible that a new cult of metahumans could start popping up? And that could be something faced in the future. But this is why I'm trying to think. Why would religion be banned as well as metahumans? Well, a religious cult or a Speed Force cult, something like the thing that Dr. Alchemy was leading before with the Savitar's people. What if they're doing something and suddenly every metahuman loses control of their powers and starts becoming essentially living bombs? That would turn them into mass hysteria. Now, I know that executive producer Mark Guggenheim has worked for both DC and Marvel, and normally I wouldn't be opposed to that. I just would think that quality probably would be better to win out instead of just ripping off ideas, because it looked kind of like an episode of The Gifted, to be honest. But it's an interesting concept, and I like to think that these stories are, in fact, intertwined. Coming up, we've got the crossover of Crisis on Earth X. So I think what's going to happen is, in the future, what if it's just a matter of time before every metahuman that we know, something happens and they're forced to become bad guys, or they eventually turn bad? What if people become sick and tired of that, and they've had enough? That's why all metahumans should be outlawed or locked up. It's just a thought. It's just a theory. But I think what's going on this season could be building up to that dark future that Zari comes from. Are we looking at Days of Futures Past kind of thing going on here? Is something that the heroes could actually take care of in the present, or is more time travel shenanigans that we get involved? I'm sure it's going to be a little bit of A, a little bit of B. But please, let me know what you guys think. And I'm going to have to come up with more things about the Thinker's plot and stuff, but right now this is just a rough idea. Given the weird symbols and stuff, I thought it might have been, what the hell was that language called? I know it, but there's a language in the future. Interlac. That's it, called Interlac. It's essentially the intergalactic equivalent of English that not only a lot of aliens speak, but also members of the 30th, 31st century on Earth end up speaking. So the symbolism looked a lot like that, but the Legion of Superheroes tied with Superman and Supergirl, so I don't know what's going on here. And this house is bitchin' thing, it sounds like it doesn't really fit anyone, but what if there was someone that was close to the Thinker that was like a surfer dude or whatever, saw his digs, said this house is bitchin', and maybe an experiment that would allow for transportation or whatever sent him into the Speed Force. So what if Barry got that by talking to someone that's stuck in the Speed Force? So, interesting possibilities. I'm just spitballing ideas here. I like to know what you guys think. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. Let's get a discussion going. And you know for a fact there's going to be more videos coming this way when I get more information on the show. But right now, I'm thinking that what's going on with the Thinker and in the Flash could one day also affect everything going on in Legends as well, which this means this is going to be Arrowverse wide. So this is big. What do you guys think? Please let me know what you guys think and pass it around. Peace.